Hello, everybody. This is Brian for Creative. I have been working on some different things here. I printed this cool CR32 battery holder. A lot of projects I have, I want to use LEDs on, and getting light, like to make little lamps or things like that. But the electronics of it escapes me because I don't have anything to do a single. I had some. I purchased off Amazon some pretty neat little ones there. You see this here. This one, the ones I purchased are back here. I'm hiding them. Not really hiding them. It's just I haven't put them away yet. So they're right here, and these ones are pretty nice. They're a double. I got 12 of them, and they're like this. You put a little battery in here, and it does its thing, and these cords come out. And it's got a little switch here, which is nice. A little switch. That's actually pretty darn impressive to have a little switch at all. So, and it brings me to what the topic is here today as well. But for the moment, let's say this was made by Charles Mouse on Thingiverse, and it's just cool. It holds the battery, this is a CR2032 battery right here, and it holds it just whoa, slip and slide. It holds it just perfectly right in there. Yeah, so that's awesome. I bought 100 of these batteries for projects. It wasn't too expensive on Amazon. And then so this one just takes some wire and it just runs down in here to connect and then down, and then back here to connect the other side. So very cool. No switch though. No switch. I can't turn this on and off. That means that the wires will have to come out and connect to something for me to have a switch on and off. I mean, theoretically, I could just connect this and hook it to the LED, and the LED would be on until the battery dies. But then that would mean the battery dies, and you don't usually use a light in the day, unless you're in a cave. I could be in a cave, man cave. But so we have this this wonderful little thing here, but I need to make a switch, and so that's what we're going to do today. I looked everywhere for a slide switch, and a slide switch really essentially just completes a circuit. I want to go this way, and it connects the two wires, and then light, and then it goes this way, and it stops connecting the wires, and no light. So I need to design something like that. I'm going to be designing that in Blender. Blender 2.79 is the one I have on this machine, so that's the one I'm going to be using, and I will show you how I do it and go through the process of doing it, and I'll probably babble on as I go through the process of designing it. So let's go ahead and let's whoosh over to Blender. Okay, now we're in Blender. This is how it starts off. It starts off with this box. Normally it says delete the box, but I actually need a cube, so I'm not going to delete the cube. I'm going to go ahead and use this cube. I'm going to use it. I'm going to scale it down with S. I'm going to scale it down small. Alright, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go tab to enter it. Hit the face selection. Select this face. Let's make it taller. Then we're going to do Control R to add a separation here. I'm going to click back on face because when you Control R puts it on side or edge. And I'm going to do E for extrude, and I'm going to have this come out. I need this to come out because remember we need to have the wire come in and connect to a pole. So now I don't want it to connect quite straight up like that, so I'm going to do Control R to put 2 like that. I'm going to do Scale X to bring them closer together, something like this. Then I'm going to go back to face here, extrude, and I'm going to bring it down. This is the part that we're going to have our let's call it a paddle. It's a paddle. So what I need to do is, at this point, I need to hit tab to come out of the edit of the object. And I want to add a mesh cylinder, which is way over there. Why is it way over there? Apparently I clicked way over there. No matter, I can do Shift S and cursor to center. There we go. Let's move this up and over and just keep moving it over, and now it's where we want it to be. Now I'm going to scale it way down. My thought is that what we're going to do is we're going to have the wire rotate with R on the y-axis 90 degrees, 90, scale X, now My thought is that we'll have the wire come through here. It'll come through there, and then it will make its connection. Let's eye it. That looks pretty center. Alright, now let's go back to this. And so, like I said, we're going to have it come through. The wire's going to come through right there, and I want to wrap it in a coil right here. But to do the coil, I want to have it have some edges to make it just a little bit easier on me. The back side is where we can just hot glue it or whatever glue it. So I have a 3D pen. I might just use filament to just glue it down, but we will see. So let's go ahead and do Control R here. We want to go on this side, see the purple line. We want to go 2, not 1. Let's go with 1 for right now. Let's move it up here. Yeah. Now let's go Control R again. Let's put it right here near the bottom, and then Control R again. We're going to come in here and do 2, and we're going to scale Z and move it out like that. Now I'm going to choose faces. I'm going to hold down Alt and click on this little edge right here so I can select all the faces around that side, and then I'm going to scale it down a little bit, not too much. I just want it to go a little bit right like that. Okay, perfect. Now I want to move this forward a little. Like that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we move that forward a little bit, just because I do want it to match up. See, so I want that line to go there. I'll probably move it just a little more forward, but I think that might cause a little problem. Let's cut in just a tiny bit. So we do want the cable to connect on this side. So, alright, we can go with that. That looks pretty good. Now you're probably wondering what this is for. Well, I can show you what that's for. Let's hit tab so we can come out of this. Let's go to our modifiers here. Choose Boolean. Change this to difference. Click this there and then choose apply. Now, watch this. It's magic. We have our hole. Yay! That's our hole for the wire to come through. So we're going to keep this. I don't want to get rid of it because we're going to need it again for the other side. But, okay, so we have one wire coming here, like so. It's going to wrap in a coil there and then come out the other side. We'll probably want to put a nut there in case someone pulls it too hard. Not a nut, a knot. Put a knot in the wire there. So anyhow, we'll see how big that hole ends up being. Let's go ahead and continue here. Now we need to slide this. As you can guess, this is the switch that we slide with our finger. This is the part that slides back and forth, but we need to have it slide back and forth on something. Now that's a real one there, huh? So what we want to do to make this is we're going to go into this again, and we're going to do Control R. And let's go ahead and do this and scale Z. Yeah. Righto. Then we're going to do Control R again. 2 of them. Yeah, scale Z. And we want it to be close to exact there. And like the last time, we're going to do the same thing. Go to Faces, click Alt. I'm going to scale this in. You see, okay, so we can scale on the y-axis. So we do scale Y. And that'll leave the other ones just fine, because it is a rail. Essentially, we're making a rail. Like so. There we go. Now we have a rail that we can move it on. Okay, so this will come all the way over and go all the way back. When it's all the way over, that's what we need to do, and it needs to come back when it's not. So let's go ahead and make the next part. Now I am making this just straight out of my noggin right now. There's no instructions or anything else. How I figure we're going to do this is that the base part will connect to this top part. So let's go ahead and add a mesh, a cube. We like cubes. Cubes are fun. And we're going to reduce this cube down small. Let's move it up a little. Let's try to find our size here. Alright, let's scale our thing. Yeah, that looks good like that. Alright, now, one thing we need to know about our cube is that it needs, our rail, it needs to be able to sit inside of this. So, that's important. This needs to be able to slide freely back and forth, so this needs to be a little bit on the big side. So let's scale on the y-axis a little, like that. Yeah. Alright, that looks fine. Okay, also the top is only going to be right there. Yep. Let's scale Z. Let's... we don't want it to come past where our wire is going to be, though, because we want the other part to be there. So I'd say something like this. And remember, I said we still needed this because this is, I should have probably just left it where it was. Now let's move this over a little. He's like, well, you just got that in place. I did, but I need this to be where it is. So yeah, looks like that's even again. Alright, so let's move this over again. Okay, signore. Alright, alright. Okay, so that's going to slide back and forth. We can give it just a little bit of leeway by not having it not touch exactly. Okay, close. Alright, now, we notice here that we have to do our sides. So let's do Control R. We want 2, right? Yeah. Right, we want to scale on the y-axis, and we want to scale it out until we can see them. There we go on that side, and that side looks a little long, so that tells us that we probably don't have it even. So let's tab and let's move it over. Over close. Alright, let's tab and let's hold it, move it, and shift. You just move it just a teeny little bit. Yeah, there we go. That's even. So that's perfect. So that's how we want it to work, like this. Okay, so now we know that that is set in stone. Okay, we're going to vacate some of this, but we haven't yet, so we're not going to worry about that at this point, because we still got to get the wire in there, and we got to have it come down, and we got to have it wrap, and so we need to have this kind of not there. But at the same time, we got to have it be the right length, and we got to have that be able to move. And you see, there's a little bit of room for movement there, but it also has to stop. So how are we going to do that? Well, what we need to do first is we need to make it so that it sticks. These are rails, after all. Well, what do you do with a rail? Well, you connect to a rail. So we're going to do E, and we're going to bring it up roughly like this. We'll do Control R over here, bring it down like that. Control R over here, bring it down roughly about the same. And this one's not the same. Bring it up a little. There we go. Yeah. Now, on those sides, we're going to do here. We're going to do E and bring it in. Yeah, and E and bring it in. Now you notice it does that. That's okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to scale Z, and we're going to bring it like that. And on this side, oh, let's see if we can get the right one. There we go. Scale Z, and like that. So now we have these holding it. So now we have our rail. We've created a rail that will slide back and forth. We can put a little bit of grease in there to make it slide, some faucet grease or something. Alright, so that'll hold our switch in place. Now we need to do our length. Length is important for this. Let's go ahead and select all these sides. You say, is there a faster way to do it? Sure, I could press C and do it, but no. Alright, so we know that this would be the end. Right? Do we know that? We do know that. We do. Alright, and then so let's grab this sides here, and we're going to do the same or here, I'll show you. Let's press A to deselect. I'll press C. It creates this nice little thing. I can just go bloop, bloop, bloop. But yeah, whatever. Alright. Now let's move this one out. This one has to be longer to make the connection disconnect. So I think that would be plenty of room for it to disconnect if that is connected. That's plenty of room for it to disconnect. We can see by just clicking up here, and we can just move it over. Back. Back. That's plenty of room for it to disconnect. Now, we have an issue with the ends here. How do we get these ends to lock and stop? Well, one nice way to do that would be to put something there to block it. Right? And we will do that. However, we're not going to do that right now. Right now, we're going to click here and we're going to go into this and we're going to say, okay, well, we need to end these. We terminate our slide area just in case. Let's see here. Let's move this one right here. And let's put this one right here. Okay, this not to terminate. The terminate is going to be done by this. The slide is going to hit the end. But we can't have this here. That's our problem. Is this part right here. So we don't want that. We don't want that at all. That's problematic for us. So let's X and face. Let's do this one too. X and face. But now I can see all the way inside. Isn't that awesome? That is awesome. Alright. Alright. Alright, man. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and let's iron these out because we can't leave it like that. It won't print. So we select these sides and we go F to fill the edges there. Not the sides, the edges. F to fill. One right here. Let's select this edge and this edge. And I don't think we got the right edges selected there. We want that edge, and we want right there, that edge. I have to fill. We want to spin this around the other side. We want to click here, and then we want to click. Well, it's somewhere in there. Oh, there we are. There, and then F to fill. So now we have a closed square box. This is how our switch will move. It's got this little thingy down here, which is going to go click, and it's got that. The switch can't come free because we've got it all locked up in there. See, it's all locked up in here, so that's excellent. We could bring this out a little and just make sure it stays locked, but this is a line right there, so we'd have to put like a lock in here. What we want to do, though, is we do want to be able to put this switch in. So we need to be able to, well, I guess we could just print it all at the same point. Could we? We could, yes. We can do that. Print it all as one piece, and then we save ourselves a lot of headache. Okay, we'll do that then. Because otherwise, how are we going to get this thing in there? Because you see, this is pretty big. I'd have to make this a separate piece and have it lock up inside and glue in there. I'd prefer to have it as one piece. Okay, so this will be one piece printed. This one right here, and that's workable. It's doable. It's separate. Hopefully, it doesn't like totally glue parts together. We'll find out, but I'm hopeful it does not. Don't think it will. We'll find out when we go to print it. But right now, we've got this piece here. We've got the hole in there. We've got the rail and the rail holder. We do not have a hole located over here, so what we're going to do is I'm going to hit tab, I'm going to come here, grab this edge, and I'm just going to face this. I'm just going to drag it right through there. Now, that's where our hole's got to be, so let's click on this one. Let's do the same thing. We're going to add a modifier, a boolean difference. Go down here, we're going to select this little cylinder. We're going to apply it. Okay, now I'm not going to remove it because we're going to need it again, because remember I said the edges are going to be blocked by the bottom of the case, which means that we're going to have to kind of finagle it when we go to do the wiring. We'll have to probably put the wire in and then pull it down, so it'll pull more wire so you can go in and wire it. So you'll have to kind of wire it as one piece. Well, two pieces, but tricky pieces. So, now, we've got this. We've got our hole. let's go ahead and let's make the next part. We're going to add a mesh. Guess what? Cube. We like cubes. I like ice cubes. It's a hot day. Alright, scale it down a little. Let's stop goofing around, Brian, and get to work. Alright, so this one, we don't need it to be this thick. So let's come in here and let's see, that should be the bottom. We want to give a little bit of room because we got to put one of these little doohickey thingy-majiggers there too. This side should come like right to there, but we want it to come over a little. It doesn't have to come over very far. This side needs to come over, however, to do the same thing on the other side. Yes, sirree. This needs to come down because it needs to sit roughly right there. It needs to, you need to have it glue into the base there. Yes. Now this needs to come in about like that, and this needs to come in roughly like that. We can make it a little bit wider, maybe just a little bit. Let's go a little bit wider. Just a touch. Just a touch. Alright, now that's great. Great. Let's just do tab and let's bring this down. Now, what we did notice here is that it needs to fit inside. So let's do this. Let's color our faces. Let's select this face. Let's go E scale. ES, that is. Alright, and we're going to come in and we're going to do our edges. Because this edge and this edge needs to go scale X. This row needs to go out to be more of a box shape. And they never really do that very well. So now let's go back to faces, click this one and go E and down. We don't want to take it so far down that it goes out the bottom, you see. We still want to have a bottom. Okay. So something like this. Now, we can't really see a lot of things with this because it's pretty, well, it's hard to see. So let's go over here to our materials. We're going to say new material, material 1. Right, we're going to come down and we're going to say that the material has a transparency. We're going to reduce the alpha to about like 7 something. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to do, let's choose a color though. Let's choose a different color. I'm going to choose that color. Yeah. Right, a purple color. And we're going to do tab to come out of that. Oh, no, we're in there. Alright, let's click over here and we're going to choose transparency. Now, you see, it's a little transparent so we can kind of see through it. That helps us because we need to move this. Let's set the origin to the geometry so it's in the middle. So we can see where exactly this is going so we know our proper height. Okay, so we know we want it to be roughly, it's got to match it. So it's got to match it. Remember, our switch goes this way to disconnect. So we've got this here, and that looks pretty good. So let's come down, and let's come in here, and let's go tab. We want to do Control R. Yep. Let's see. We want to kind of edge up right against that. Right? So Control R. Control R twice. Scale Y. Right. Let's go back to faces. Let's take this and let's go E. You see what we did wrong? I do. Alright, so is it, oh my god, the end of the world wrong? No, we just gotta click on these two things here and move them to the other side. Right, alright, let's do this one. Let's bring it a little closer because I don't want to have to use 20 strands of wire to do this. I'd rather just work. Okay, E, up. Alright, yes. Now, we actually need this, however, to actually touch. So, okay, we're really high there. What we don't know is how high it needs to be. So, again, this kind of comes right there. And this is going to come kind of like in this box here, which is, as we can see, it's a little, not there. so this is a little high. Alright. See, we're inside the box. We definitely need to bring this down. And it needs to come down to no higher than this right there. No higher than that. Right. To make our match. Okay. Let's work with this a little bit. For starters, let's select these lines here. I'm going to hold shift as I click on each of them. Yeah. Okay, we want to scale Y. We want to bring it in just a little bit. Why? Well, why not? Alright, so now it matches that side. A little smaller, but that's okay. Now I want to do Control R. I want to do it up here on this one. We're going to do roughly the same thing we did before. Give us ourselves a little bit of a lead to match this up to. Control R 2 times. Scale Z and something like this. Right, we want to pull it forward just a little like before. We just want to have a slight area so we have an indentation there so we know what we're doing. Right? So let's go ahead and let's select this one and this one again. Now, we're going to have to select these. And this and this. And that selects all our sides, all our edges there. And we need to bring this so it is actually like right on it. Yeah, like that. See, right on it. We need to be right on there. Okay, now we need this. Shift D to copy. Z to go down. Like that, except this one is actually going to come out the other side. Our cable's going to go out that side for this one. Same theory, really. It's going to come around and we're going to have to wrap it. But we want it kind of like this. Okay, so we can go ahead and we can select this. Well, we'll do that in a second. And now we can do it right now. Because I'll forget, and I don't want to forget. Boolean difference. Apply. Alright. Alrighty then. Now, since we have that one in there, this one actually it's done. This one can be moved out of the way. We've got this hole. There's our hole. It goes all the way through. We're happy with that. Yay. Now, this is where wire will come in. It will wrap around this. And this one will wrap around this. That makes your circuit, because a switch is essentially just the meeting of a circuit, the joining of a circuit, so that it can exchange electricity. All those electrons can be flowing happily. So, there we go. We've got that moved over there. We've got that in place. Let's see. What we have here is just a bunch of empty space, which is fine. This is not so fine though. So what we have here now is we need to make these sides. These sides. Just not that. Not alt. No. Okay. We just need these sides to come in some because they're holding. It's supposed to be tight against this box, and that's not really very tight against anything. So let's go ahead and do scale Y because that's the area we need to come in, and we need it to be something like that. So it's going to be nice and tight, not too tight because the thing is really good at printing like that, but tight enough. Let's see. There we go. We did a lot of sound effects there. Alright, we can do scale X, and we're going to bring that in. Something like that. Perfect. Now, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to put a little ledge here because I want this to come in only the exact amount that I need it to not go any further down, right? So, what that means is one, You know, I thought we leveled this thing. Let's see. Shift. But this side just doesn't seem right now, does it? No, it does not. Compadre. Yes, yes. I don't really speak Spanish, but I speak some. I like Spanish though. All right, so there. Now we have it going, and it's not overly done. Well, let's see here. Scale Y 0. Doesn't look like it's even. It's probably even. All right, this side now. It's not behaving. Let's see. I brought that in. Let's bring it back out a little. Okay. Good. Alright, now it looks like we've got some space on each one. Excellent. Okay, so the box needs to be open a little bit, like that. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to hit Tab, and I'm going to take this. I'm going to hit Tab here, and I'm going to do Control R. We want this to go all the way around, and you see there, it pretty much does. I want it to come down about right here. And that should come roughly in the place where we want it to go. It doesn't really care for those sides, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to come into this, and we're going to go E and extract it. Just a little bit. We're going to do the same on the other side. We'll do E, extract it a little bit. There we go, like that. So now we've got this out a little bit. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to cut. We're going to cut that out of this one. So we're going to come back to this here. We're going to go Tab. Now we can see that and say, hey now buddy, look at that. That is a space that we need to account for. So let's do Control R. And let's kind of come over here. You can see it doesn't quite do it evenly now, does it? Nah, it doesn't. So what we'll do is, let's go back. You shouldn't do it this way, but we're going to do it this way. You should not do it this way. You know better. I know better, but I've got out of it and I don't want to redo it, so I'm just going to do this, and this is messy. Probably not a way we should probably do things, but it won't hurt anything. One side at a time. We want to go E and bring it out to be even with that one. Yeah, like that. And we want to do the same thing on this side. And we're going to go E, get out, even with it. Like that. There we go. Yes. Yosh. Now, we're going to come back to this box here. This lovely box. And we're going to select, I don't think I can select everything. Oh, I can select everything on the top. And I want to go E. And I want to extend it up to here. Just shy of that. Just shy of it. Just a little bit. Little bit. So I want it to come over just a little, just so I know that's there. And if I need to, I can try to pop it apart at a later date. Alright, so now let's hit Tab, because we're going to need to go ahead and we're going to need to add a modifier to this. Can you guess which one? Boolean difference. And you want to check and choose that cylinder. Why? Yes. Because that's the one, remember, that's the one that was stopping us there, so we can just move that out of the way and we can look in there and we can see all the way in, or we should be able to, but we don't. So why don't we? Let's see, add modifier. Well, no, let's go to this here. Add modifier, Boolean difference. Fine. And I still don't see all the way through. That's just some sauce. Alright, let's add this one first here. I'm going to go add modifier, Boolean difference. We want to select this object right there, apply. Right, so what that did is that made us our little ledges. You see that, the little ledges inside of this? It also, let's go ahead and come over here to object, and let's turn off the transparency for a second so we can see what we're looking at here. Okay, so it did allow us to put these in there, and that looks great. Fantastic, yay. We got some ledging going on here, yeah. We do, although we seem to have lost a couple parts. So, let's go ahead and hit tab, and let's see what we've got here. Alright, hit period to zoom into it in the numlock pad. Alright, so this is kind of a problem. See, look, there's like, it's like, we knew that would be a problem. That was where I kind of goofed up there, right? So let's just move it down so it's closed off. Yeah. Super zoom. Alright, we can see that too as we super zoomed over. That was another problem. These, however, will just print as a solid. That's fine. Now this, look at that. We got some weirdness going on in there, don't we? Wow, look at that stuff. What is all this? Let's go to this one, and we can see these are all like loose vertex. Let's just hit C so we can select them. In here, and we hit the right mouse button to make it go away, and we hit C again. Right mouse button to make it go away. Let's try to get a good angle here. I don't know what those are, but I don't really want them there. So let's go ahead and hit X vertices. Pow. Uh-oh. What in the world? Middle mouse button will unselect things. So there we go. Alright. X vertices. There, we just removed those. So we've kind of got this thing going on here. Let's do C. And let's just try to select some of these weird, wild, stray vertices that are just like all over the place. Boolean sometimes does that. So we just want to deselect the ones that are part of the actual thing here. And these strays, we don't really want these strays. I hate to say it, but they're kind of not cool. They're not cool on a whole new not cool level. You can see we got a few of them here. This is clean up, clean up, clean up. Clean up sucks, but we deal with it. There we go. Oh, we still got a couple of them right there. Let's do C and just click. We got a couple of them right there. Let's do C and just click. And then X and vertices. Alright. We got a few over here too. Wow, we got a lot of these little strays going along. Okay. There we go. Better. Better. Much better. Okay. Now we've cleaned that up. Let's come back onto this side because I bet you we may have the same thing over here. No, we're good over here. Yeah, we're good. That's probably an artifact because of this mess right here. You see, this didn't seem to want to work. So let's hit tab. Let's come over here. Let's hit tab. Let's see, what do we got going on here? We've got some weirdness going on. Yeah. We have faces. Let's see, let's make that face go away. Let's make this face go away. Let's make, what in the world is that, huh? That's some wonkiness there, huh? X, we're gonna make that face go away too. We're gonna make this face go away. So we have a, we're gonna generally try to have something simply that looks good, because if you get it too weird, then it really doesn't work. It really doesn't work. It'll go kind of wonky on us. Okay, now we've got some strays in here too, but overall I think that's going to be fine. Let's go ahead and let's choose this. Oh, that's kind of a nightmare. Okay, so yeah, now we want to select. Do we have an edge there? Do we have no edges here? Where's our edges? We don't have edge. Select it there, so it's not going to select there. And let's just fill. It really doesn't like that though, does it? No, it doesn't. No, no, it doesn't really care for it. So we'll change it up. Let's do it a little differently then. Let's try to just select some of these edges down to the midpoint. Let's take this one, let's subdivide it. I've got a spot in the middle. Select this one, 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 and then fill. We've still got that. Well, isn't that just grand? Alright, fine. We'll do it. No, see, that's just really, that's not going to work for me here, huh? No, it isn't. So, when things don't work for you, one way to solve the problem is to come in and let's go to faces, and we're just going to select everything in here. Go to C, and we're just going to select all of this. Because this is clearly a problem for us, so and in lieu of trying to figure it all out, which oh jeez, I don't need to figure it all out, I just need to figure out what's going on with some of it here. This is where my problem is, right? So to solve our problem, we just need to delete our problem. Yeah, so now we can really clearly see the goof up that thing is. Sometimes the boolean does not work quite very well. As we see in this case, it created kind of just a mess. But that is okay because we still have what we need. Here, oh, we got a couple right there. Alright, a couple strays hanging out. Let's go ahead and let's select these. Select the back first. Fill. Now there's a problem. See, which side is okay? Yeah. Select this and let's do fill. Select this. Let's do fill. Select this. Do fill. And we'll select this. Do fill. So now we've put it back together again. Excellent. Let's grab this and let's bring it back on over. Try to get it lined up there. Have to be exact? Not really. Let's go ahead and back to our boolean. Much nicer. We're back to normal again. So we went and we fixed it the hard way, or the easy way, or the hard way, or I don't know. We fixed it though. That's what matters. So now this will sit firmly in there in the box here. The box here has got the hole down in the part where we coil. The wire will go out this side. This is one wire. We could say this is the connected, and well, it's all on one. Either the ground or the power. I never really know which one you do it to. Probably the power. So power will come in, wrap around here. The other part of the power will come in and wrap around here. This will sit locked inside. Now this will slide back and forth in here all the way up to this edge, which will break the connection. When you go forward, it'll make the connection. It's not like a super switch. It's not something that locks. It's not something fancy. It's not something special. It's just a switch that will work. And that's what we need, just a switch that will work. Let's make sure that this has got some space there. It does. We're good. So this will come to right there. Right, now, if you recall, I said we don't want things too close. We want to have a little bit of room in here, a little bit of leeway. We'll probably glue these in, but until then, I'm going to want to come in here and I'm going to want to move these panels out just a touch. because I don't want to have them so tight that it doesn't fit. I printed a little box once and it didn't fit because these panels were just too, well, not these panels, but I made the sides fit perfect. Printers don't do perfect. Just plain simple, printers don't do perfect. Printers shrink, they mess things up a little here and there. So it's best to account for the fact that that's probably going to happen and move things back a little, just to make it so that you can get the part in there when it comes time to put the part in there. Now the neat thing about this switch is it can be any size, just not so small I can't get the wire in. Theoretically, I guess you'd make it as big as your wire would need to be. I'm going to use speaker wire, so I'm going to use a very small wire. So there we go. Now let's go ahead and move this up. There should be a little bit of leeway there. We should be able to just look right here to see how close we are, because there we have a hole. Yep, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, we got a little bit of leeway on there. Yeah, it seems to be sitting in there just fine. I'd say we probably have ourselves a switch. So we can click these, X and delete on those, and we have ourselves a switch. This switch will come in here and here. Well, in or out or in, however you want to think about it. But that will be how we do it. Now, I could put a little lock in so we can screw the cord in, so once it's in, it doesn't come loose, and have it screw in on each side. I'm not really worried about that because you can just put some glue. And that would add also a little bit more on these edges just to hold it. This will come back, but it'll only come back until it hits that, and it won't come back anymore. Is this switch easily breakable? It is, so it's best not to. Now, this part is just a touch tall. Let's bring it down a little. Something like that. That looks a little nicer. It's a small switch. Okay, so now printing this switch. That's going to be something completely different. I would like to say that we could print it easily, but I think that printing it easily will be a miss. It will be harder than it sounds. So let's take this and let's move it over, because this is our switch and our point, right? And so what will be the easiest way to print this? There's really no easy way to print this, is there? Okay, since we're not going to find an easy way to print this, let's make a little modification here. We want to get this in this, but we don't want it to come all the way out. That's the side that has our cord come in, right? So let's make a little modification here, because we know that we're going to stop right there, so we don't need this, do we? No, we don't. So let's X bases. Yeah, we just took that right out. So that means what we can do is we can slide that right in there. So that will let us slide that part into our rail system. Our rail system is flat, and that is a nice part about it. So this now can come out. That can be printed easily, just like that. Perfect. Yes. This part here now, we got to figure out how we want to print this. This part would probably be best printed on its side. So rotate X90 on its side. That would be best how that's printed. Let's line it up here. Let's bring it down. Yeah. Try to like make it even. We'll make them all even in just a second, but let's try to get close as possible. How I like to do that is to move it over a little, so it's through it a little here, and say, okay, well, I can clearly see it now, and I mean, it is forgiving a little bit, not much. Alright, there we go. Let's give it some space though, because we don't want it right on top of each other. Let's bring this one over. This is our case. And we want to bring it up like that. There we go. Yes, we have our 3 parts here for our switch. Seems pretty simple to me, not very complicated at all. So, but yet there's nothing anywhere else out there for them. So let's select all 3. Let's go File, Export. I'm going to save it as an STL. I'm going to put it in my made folder. And I'm going to call it, I'm going to call it Slide Switch by Creative. There we go. Now, that will complete the part that we're doing in Blender. What we need to do now is we need to go see if we can import this into another program, depending on which printer I decide I want to use. Alright everybody, we are in the, I decided I was going to print this one on the DaVinci. So we're in the DaVinci. I'm going to pop over to My Files, and I'm going to open up the Slide Switch. Let's open that up. It's going to say, hey, this model may need repairing. Probably. Yeah, we want to import it in inches because let's just do an auto scale. How's that? We'll just do an auto scale. There we go. There's all our parts that we're going to print. Nice and pretty. Alright, that actually looks pretty large, but maybe it's not that big. We'll find out. I think that's probably pretty big though. That's probably pretty big. Yeah. Anyway, let's find out. Okay, let's prepare this model. And then I will have this thing recording over on the other side so we can see this for you. It's going to take 14 minutes and 39 seconds, so this is not a very long print at all. It looks like it's going to be really quite simple actually. So let's go ahead and start the camera over here so that we can yep, alright. Start recording. Okay. We're recording on the printer, and let's go ahead and hit the print button and send it on over. It takes a minute for it to transfer, although it's pretty small, so it shouldn't take too long. Wow, that was actually really fast. It must know I'm filming it. That's why it's decided to move a little bit quicker than it normally does. So let's go ahead and let's see how this turns out. We'll go ahead and switch over to that. Okay, the print is done and I assembled it. It took a little bit of sanding with my handy little bitty Dremel. I made it a little, it ended up being a little smaller than I thought it would be. It's like the perfect size for a switch, I guess. It's kind of tight. Boop, there we go. There we go. Like I said, I didn't put any oil or grease in there or anything, like I said I should. Also, the hole that we have here for the wire, you can't really see, but it is way too small. However, I would consider this one a success because we can definitely work on this and make it a little bit better. I would increase the box size a little, just increase this out a little bit here on the sides a little bit here. Make the hole for the wire so it can actually fit some wire. The size on this side, wow, that's so small. I just can't see it's fitting some wire in there. However, overall, I'd say it's a success, and on top of that, it tightly switches once you have it assembled. It's never coming off. I don't think I could get that out if I wanted to. That's really in there. You can see the two different prongs inside. You see them there if you look very closely. There you go. And now, we look very closely. Let's see if I can do it on the side here. This is the clear stuff. Let's see now. Oh, there we go. You can kind of see that they've joined there. You can see that. Come back. And our circuit would be open. So I would say successful. This will work perfect. It just needs to be bigger. This a little bit bigger, or I have to make the box a little bit bigger. Probably make this switch here just a little bit smaller lengthwise. It's a little too long to fit in there nicely. But otherwise, this switch works like a charm. I definitely need some grease of some sort in there. So I'd say this is a success. I will put the file out when I have the website up. I'll put the file up so you can get this. If you need it before then, you're more than welcome to email me and or comment down below, and you can message me, and I will send you the STL file so you can print your very own slide switch. That will work with just regular little stuff. I might upload it on once I can print one that's really good. Upload it on Thingiverse, and then you can get it from there too. If I do that, then I'll post a link down in the comments or something, or description or something like that, so you can get your own and print your own slide switch. Very cool. So, thanks for watching, and remember, as always, let's get creative.